Maybe. Hey, we are on. Okay, so today's lesson 4:13:21. Okay. So if I take a look at this graph, y equals 1 over x. It's the same thing as y equals 1. Okay, if I just multiply the x up, right? And so we know something times something equals 1. So to do that, let me go ahead and see if I can get a graph of this. I'm going to go ahead and try and put this down. So if I'm looking for the multiples of 1, well, I could use, I know 1 times 1, right? But I got to get creative. So this time I'm probably going to have to use a couple of fractions. I know 2 times 1/2. Would you agree with that? Would you agree with 2 times 1/2? Right? And then at the same time I could have a 1/2 times 2, okay? So when I do my graph, I'm probably going to go by 0.25. Here's 1. Here's 1. Negative 1. Negative 1, okay? Because I'm going to need halves, right? Oh, I probably shouldn't have done it that way. How about 2? Now I'm thinking about 2, 2, and 2. There we go. Good. Okay, I'm going to change that to 2, okay? So if I graph 1 and 1, it's there. We did this yesterday. The only difference is we're having some fractions in there. And if I did 2 and 1/2, I'm about here. And if I do 1/2 and 2, I'm about here. And so I know this graph looks like that, okay? How am I doing? And then the next thing I would have to do is do the negatives. So I know that negative 1 times negative 1 also makes positive 1, right? I'm just looking at what times what makes 1. And if I do well, I can take these and make it a negative 2 and a negative 1/2, because that'll also make a positive 1. And I could also do this one here, make it negative 1/2 and negative 2, right? So let's graph the negatives. Then I'd have a negative 1, negative 1. I'd have a negative 2 and a negative 1/2, 1/2 and 2, and here's my graph, okay? I know the domain is x equals all real numbers except x cannot equal 0, right? And I know the range is y equals all real numbers except y cannot equal 0. And so I'm going to put in some asymptotes, right? So I like the asymptotes because those are my boundary lines. And horizontal asymptote and a vertical asymptote at y equals 0 and at x equals 0, okay? So that is our parent function, okay? And we're going to take that function and we're going to move it, okay? So that's our parent function. That's our parent function. So let's take this parent function, let's move it. So the first thing to do is, I know we've talked about this before, but it's always going to be anything inside. Remember the dance? Remember the stupid little dance? I'm going to do it again just to wake you up. Remember the stupid little dance? Whatever it takes to get you. Okay, I'll make it for myself here. I'm an idiot. Oh, it's all good. It's inside the parentheses, right? Right? I'm trying to wake you up. Which way am I moving? You think I'm moving to the left, but I'm actually moving the opposite direction, right? Right? Same thing. It's on the inside. I'm moving horizontally. Which way? You think I'm going to the right, but I'm actually going to the left, right? So we're going to take and move this graph back to down 4. Does that make sense? So we're going to make a translation. So our translation on this is going to be to the left 2 and down 4. So when I put in my axes, I got to think about that. So maybe I'll put my axes way over here. All right, I'm going to try and put it way over here. And I'm going to go by, I'm going to go -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, because I got to go left 2, and I'm going to go -1, -2. Okay. And I still might not even have the whole thing fit in here, but that's okay. I'll just squeeze it in. So, what do I move? The easiest thing to move is the asymptote. So move the asymptotes. Because you got a center point right here for the asymptote. So the easiest thing is to move the asymptote, move it left 2. So we take the asymptotes and go 1, 2, and down 4. 1. So my asymptotes are going to be here, okay? And then I'm going to take my parent function and put it down here. So to put my parent function in, I don't have to be perfect on this. Just want to get it in here. Okay, here's parent function. And the same thing is going to be down here, okay? Terrible job of drawing it, but there it is, okay? Okay, now number 3 is not in the form we want it in, because what we want it in is this form right here. In fact, let's go ahead and write the standard form down, but I like it as some y equals k over x minus h plus, oh, k, doggone it, why k and h? This should be k and h. Let's leave it as a. Let's make it a plus k. Okay, that's my standard form. Write that down, please. That's what I like. Okay, that's the standard form. A is the number, like the multiples, and this is where we're going to move the asymptotes to, okay? This one's not in that form, but if we can do some long division, I can do some division, I'll get the answer. So if I go back to my warm-up, we did a little bit of long division, right? So if I take my x minus 2 and do synthetic division and do 2 into 2 and 8, we'll get it to be this form. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of synthetic division because I need it to look like this. And I'll show you what I'm doing. I want it to look like this form here, but it doesn't. So I'm going to do synthetic division. Remember, it's the opposite, positive 2. I get a 2, 8. There's my remainder. So the first step, of course, in synthetic division is to bring down the first step. 2. I go 2 times 2 is 4. I add these two, and I get 12. Okay. So my answer is a y equals a 2, right, plus a 12 over what I divide by. Okay, so my answer is the 2. Here's my 2. And the 12 is my remainder. So it's plus 12 over what we divided by, okay? Now, all right, this is not bad. Now I know what to do with this. So I'm going to take my asymptotes, and I'm going to move my asymptotes to the point 2, 2. So I'm going to move my asymptotes. So my asymptotes are going to go to, are going to go to 2, positive 2, 2, okay? So I want to graph that in. I'm trying to put my asymptotes on. Let's see, let's put, since I gotta go 2, 2, and you'll go like that, and like that. Now, okay, so this is a hard problem, but we can do it. I need the multiples of 12. Let me put in my asymptotes first. My asymptotes are 2, 2. And now I need the multiples of 12, okay? I need the multiples of 12. So what are the multiples of 12? Well, that would be like a, well, what times what makes 12? How about a 3 and a 4? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I need all the multiples of 12. Maybe a 3 and a 4 and a 4 and a 3. But I'm taking it from here, aren't I? Okay, so then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I can do a 2 and a 6, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can also do a 6 and a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2. And I probably have enough. I mean, I probably have enough because I know the shape, right? And then I should have the negatives of those also, right? So I should also have like the -3 and a -4 and a -4 and a -3. Okay, from the center of the asymptote. From the center of the asymptote, right? So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And I should also have a -6. Whoops, -6 and a -2, and I should also have a -2 and a -6. So from the center of the asymptote, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then there it is. So where are the asymptotes? Well, the asymptotes are at y equals 2 and x equals 2, right? Where are the asymptotes? At y equals 2 and at x equals 2, okay? Now, domain and range, let's check that out. Okay, let's just look at the graph. Am I going too fast? Domain. Well, it's forever wide except for right here at 2. Does that make sense? It's forever wide except for right here at 2. Because if you put 2 in here, you divide by 0, right? So the domain is x equals all real numbers except x cannot equal 2. That's where my asymptote is, right? And my range, well, let's see. It goes forever up and down except for not right here at 2. So it's y equals all real numbers except for y cannot equal 2. Okay. How am I doing? Okay? It was a little bit harder of a problem. Return the page. Alright. Okay, so here we are one more time doing the exact same problem. I don't know why I wrote it twice. We don't need to do it twice. My notes are off. That's okay. We've already did that problem. We got it done. Okay, so that's all I have. Better check my notes next time. Make sure I don't copy something twice. Right, and I'm going to stop it there. And I probably need to help you with your homework, don't I? Maybe. Come on. Stop. Come on.